Hello, I'm James Lee, founder and CEO of Project Science. In this short video, I want to introduce you to some new apps for Atlassian Jira Cloud that we've just released. These cutting-edge apps use machine learning and predictive analytics to help you deliver your agile projects more accurately and more efficiently, saving you time and money. They improve the whole experience of running an agile project. They're available now in the Atlassian marketplace for you to try, so let's take a look. If you go to marketplace.atlassian.com and in there search for Project Science, you will find the two apps, Predict for Jira and Knowledge for Jira. In this short video I'm going to demonstrate these apps and their capabilities, how they can be used and the value that they provide. So, first of all, what are the challenges these apps help you to overcome? How can they improve your whole experience of Agile and save you time and money? So we all know that Agile can be very effective whether you're running a sprint or operating a Kanban board, but it's not immune to all the pressures of modern project life. Deadlines are stressful and there are many demands as we multitask. There's uncertainty over how much we can commit to in our sprints. We have change to respond to, and working out the impact of these change requests can be time consuming. We also have a fear of not knowing if we've got the right solutions in mind. Are we doubling up? Are we tackling something that's been done before? And are we collaborating effectively? And how do we deal with the unknowns in the product backlog? And sometimes we don't know who to talk to, especially when we're working remotely. And Predict for Jira and Knowledge for Jira help provide the answers to those questions. Before I take you through the apps, let me describe the science that they use. The first solution is based on an insight that the past is indeed a guide to the future. And this particular approach was made famous by Kanban through reference class forecasting, taking the outside view. In reference class forecasting, when we're planning a task and we want to work out how long it might take, whatever its scale or size, we try to pick a selection of past examples which are relevant and we look at their durations. We then build an estimate based on those examples, and this helps us to avoid optimism bias. But it takes time to do this. You've got to find the data, you've got to synthesize it, you've got to calculate the distributions, and then you've got to decide what the ranges are. And all this takes time. Imagine if this could be automated. And this is what Predict for Jira does, and more on it in a moment. The second app, Knowledge for Jira, builds on this approach. When we're planning a task, we want to know if the requirement that we're responding to has been raised previously, and if it has it been delivered? And by knowing what's been done or considered before, we can plan more effectively. Perhaps there are technical insights from when the work was done last time. Equally, if similar work has already been started, we want to know. And again, doing all this takes time. You have to search every time you want to find out. Imagine this could be automated, and this is what Knowledge for Jira does. So now let's take a look at the apps in action. So in the first scenario, I want you to imagine that you are working on a large software development project. You're a Scrum Master planning the sprints, and what we have here is a synthetic project that's been generated using a type of AI, a large language model, and it simulates the representative backlog, a piece of work we've got developing a language compiler. So what I want you to do is imagine you're planning the sprint and trying to work out which tickets you want to include and what objectives that we can meet. So let's just take a look at our backlog, starting over here. So we've got a bunch of tickets, and the question is, what can we achieve? What do we need to focus on? So let's just take a look at our first ticket, HSK 1191. So if I call this one up in a new tab, you will see the standard Jira issue panel open up. Got the title, description, and then Knowledge for Jira and Predict for Jira are both available here in these two buttons, and they're running automatically. And you can see that while I've been talking, Predict for Jira has already come back with a response, and likewise Knowledge for Jira. So these two apps present their information in the panel below the ticket description, designed to be really easy to use, really easy to access, and provide you with the information when you need it. So let's take a look at this particular ticket. This is about a revised implementation of concurrent data structures. So this looks like a pretty complex piece of work, and the challenge is to understand, how many story points might this need, how long might it take, and has it been tackled before? So let's just take a look at those questions. Let's start off with Predict for Jira. So if you read the text down here, you will see that Predict is saying that about 20% of the time, tasks similar to this one have historically been as quick as 4 weeks. It looks most likely that it will be about 5 weeks in duration, and then 20% of the time it could be up to 3 months. And those could be in the extreme scenarios. So it's giving you a feeling for the level of risk that's behind these tasks as well, which is really useful. And also, in terms of story points, Predict has taken a look at similar tickets and used the information recorded against those to predict the ranges of story points. And here it's saying that it could be around 10 story points, and could be up to 12 or even 15. And the shortest that's seen for similar kinds of work is about 8 story points. So we're starting to build up a picture using the predictive analytics and the machine learning as to how long this task might take. But that's not all. That's the prediction capability. We've also got Knowledge for Jira. And Knowledge for Jira will go away and take a look at all the other tickets and advise on which tickets you ought to consider in planning. So here we see a range of other tickets being presented with different keys and relevant scores, their titles, and this table presents information whether the ticket has been completed or not, and how long it took and how many story points. So in this example, what we might say to ourselves, well, actually this one looks most relevant, so we'll expand this, look at it in a new tab. And when it's loaded, we'll read the description, and we might decide that actually this completed piece of work is highly relevant to ticket 191. So we might say, okay, let's make a record of that and pass that information back to the developer. So I'm going back to the original ticket, and I'm going to amend the description here to say, actually, take a look at this other ticket 112, enhanced code generator for concurrency, because this one might be relevant. And I'm also then going to put in story points. I think, well, I would go with the recommendation around 10, so this could be a 10 story point task. And then for duration, I might say, okay, 5 weeks, I might be running a long sprint cycle. Yeah, that's reasonable. I think we can proceed with this task. I'll save that information. And so I can now go back to the backlog and move this up and get that into the sprint ready to go. So that's the first demonstration scenario. This is in a sprint-based mode of use, but that's not the only way we can use it. And in the next example, I'm going to show you how it can be used in a Kanban style project. Okay, so now let's take a look at the Kanban style project. So we've got another example here. This is a data pipeline engineering project. So I want you to imagine that you are a Scrum Master looking after Kanban process for data engineering. So you've got a team working on data pipeline engineering tasks, and you've got the classic view of a bunch of tickets that have been done, you've got tickets in progress, and you've got a backlog. And the question is, which ones do you wish to proceed with? So let's just pick on the this one here, ticket key 129, write ops manual for Zendesk satisfaction metric. So let me just expand that one, and you can see that once again the ticket is loading, and then automatically Predict for Jira and Knowledge for Jira will run and present information. So let's have a look and see what they come back with. Okay, we've got the answers. So our live predictive analytics have taken an assessment of all the tickets in the project, and here you can see that we have got a view that similar tasks could be as short as 3 days for this particular activity, but the range is more likely to be 4 to 6 days, perhaps 4 days being the most likely, and occasionally you might find up to 9 days, and if you're really unlucky it could be a 19-day task. So this is really useful information because it is enabling me to plan really rapidly and to be confident that I'm looking at past data sets and then genuinely using the past as a guide to the future. And again, when I now look at story point estimates, we can see that might be 9 story points, could be up to 20, quite an exceptional case, but might be as few as 3. So I think what I'm going to do in this case is I think probably around 5 story points, so let's put that in there. Now that's not all, of course, we've also got the Knowledge for Jira output. So this particular ticket is around writing an operations manual. So what we might want to do is to see what other tasks have been done to do with operations manual writing, and to steer the implementer or the assigner of this ticket towards past examples to help them produce a really high quality output. So what we've got here is DPE 121, write Net Promoter Score data pipeline for service operations manual. So let's call this one up like we did in the previous example. And you can see here a description of the kinds of work that were done, and this, yes, 5 story points, there we go. So what I'm going to do on this one, I'm going to tag this and go back to the original ticket and say, okay, I recommend that you take a look at this previous example. We can suggest that they use it as a guide to their next piece of work when they implement this. So there we go. So we've got information here that's around 5 story points. It could be about 4 to 6 days duration, and we can rapidly signpost the assignee of this ticket, whoever we choose to assign it to a previous completed example. What we can also do is take a look at other tickets that are related that might still be in progress, and this is also handy. We can see, in fact, we've got 2 other tickets coming along around an imaginary ForgeRock authenticator operations manual and a sign-ups operations manual. So these 2 tickets coming along, we might decide to do them at the same time when a person is used to writing the operations manual and is thinking about the kinds of things that need to go into an operations manual. So there we go. That is both Predict for Jira and Knowledge for Jira being used in a Kanban mode, and it makes no difference how you use them, whether it's Sprint or Kanban. It's any style of Agile where you want to know how long something might take, how many story points might be required, whether it's been done before, and if it's currently being done as well. And by using all of these data points, of this information, you can really help accelerate your Agile projects. So now that you've seen what the Predict and Knowledge apps can do, why not try them out? You get a 3 months evaluation in the Jira cloud with no obligation. Just go to the Atlassian marketplace. We offer product support, and customers can influence our product roadmap. These apps are also secure by design. Your data is not sent out of the Atlassian cloud to third parties, so you can use the apps with sensitive information, and this makes approval for deployment in a corporate environment much easier. And we believe these apps will save you substantial amounts of time. They will help you understand risk, improve your Agile planning, and we have calculated that there is a very significant return on investment. So if you want to find out more information, please do visit the Project Science products page on our website, or go to the Atlassian marketplace for any of these apps. and you can find out more information there about the apps, and lots of details in there about pricing, security, support of the different versions. And so just remains for me to say thank you very much for your time. Please do give the apps a try, send us your feedback, we'd love to hear from you. So this is James Lee, Project Science Limited. Thank you for your time.